From Tally to Cali,
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up! Wake up!
Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
One ball, corner pocket.
Now here's Warchant.com's Maason Smith
And Corey Clark.
Come on, let's go! Live edition, let's go! Welcome in, everybody. Wake Up Warchant live on a Thursday evening.
That was a lot. That was a lot.
Clark.
Hey,
man.
what's up? But you're fired up. What, we got 9 days? Peter Warwick days?
It felt like game week out there today. They're doing scout teamwork, Corey.
Yeah.
I felt it, man. Welcome, LSU fans that might be here watching. We've got some of them in the comment section these days. Don't like the way we talk about their team, making it sound like they lost by 20 last year. It's okay, guys. It's respectful. Pull up a chair. We can agree to disagree, but welcome to the show. It's Wake Up Warchant. It's presented by the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. That's in Tallahassee, Florida. So when we join your conference and you're in Tallahassee, you're going to want to hang out at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. You folks at home know about it. Some of you don't, though. Come out to Tallahassee. Go to the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, 2475 Appalachia Parkway, cptallybar.com. On the internet. You can always hit the QR code on your screen, takes you to the website. You can check out the social calendar as well as our daily lunch specials. Fridays, chicken finger basket with fries, hand breaded, sauce on the side, or they'll toss the sauce with the chicken fingers to your liking. Can't miss. Prime rib sandwich, Nashville hot sandwich, the bear, Italian beef sandwich. Good drinks as well. Cold, strong pours. Right, Corey Clark?
And plus, we're going to have the Jeff Cameron Warchant appreciation thing Friday afternoon from 4 to 6. So if you want to come out and rub elbows with Jeff Cameron and Tom Lang, Aslan might be there. I might be there. Stephanie might be there. Go ahead and show up. It'll be a good time and good food. Not just the chicken fingers. It's all good.
Yeah. If you're not in town, you can come hang out with us next week. Right? Next Saturday, we're going to be in Orlando, Florida.
Come on, man. We've been promoting this for a month now.
I can't believe it's finally here, man. It's like
I know.
we're not the countdown show. We're not like, hey, welcome on to the Wake Up Warchant, 89 days away from kickoff, which is fine if you do that. It's cool. But the fact I think that we haven't done that makes it feel like it's really kind of approach us here really quickly. But we'll be out there Saturday night, 4 to 5 o'clock, meet and greet, 5 to 6 live headlines.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have the graphic in front of me, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But that'll be headlines. Corey, Ira, Jeff Cameron live at Hooch Bar out there in Orlando, downtown. Go to wallstreetorlando.com to buy tickets. It's not tickets to see necessarily these guys, which kind of is, though. But it's a huge block party. Hooch is part of it. So if you want to be in the eye of all the fun, you got to get banded. It's $20 for a night, $35 for both nights. And then Sunday pregame show, Jeff Cameron, Tom Lang getting you ready for that LSU game. And then postgame show with Gene Williams and Tom Lang live from Hooch going all the way till 1 a.m.
That is a distinction, though, that we want to make is like we're not charging people $20 to come to Hooch's and see us or to get in the bar or to watch a live Seminole headlines. It's the $20 is what I guess the downtown Orlando people are charging, the Wall Street district is charging to get into this block party. We just happen to be part of the block party, but it's not like we're getting $20 from each one of you. I don't know if we get any money from any of you, but so show up anyway. Support us. All
right, Corey. Observations. You're back out of practice this morning, so I could kind of relax a little bit and let the big dog eat.
Yeah.
What'd you think about practice on this Thursday morning? Which, by the way, first off, you missed period 3.
I did.
You missed some more gadgetry, and it worked.
Okay.
So it was a different kind of gadget. So
the two coolest things I saw were, number one, the battle between Keon Coleman and Azarie Thomas was really cool to see. They probably had 5 or 6 real reps against each other. I think 5 in one-on-ones, which seemed like a lot, where Azarie got an interception on a kind of a jump ball. He won it. Keon beat him for I wouldn't even say Keon beat him for a touchdown. Azarie is in great position. I think it's Jordan throws it behind Keon. It's almost an impossible place to put the ball, and Keon snags it for a touchdown. Just ridiculous catch. He also made another really nice catch in 11-on-11 goal line stuff. And then Azarie had a couple other pass breakups. I really like the way those dudes competed, man. That was fun. So that was a fun thing to watch. Azarie just, in my opinion, just keeps taking strides, man. He might be good. And then Fabian Lovett beating a couple double teams during one portion of practice was nice to see. So I'll just leave it at that. But that was very nice to see. Norvell talked about it afterwards that he's ramping up. He's doing more and more each day. They like where he's at. So yeah, if you haven't heard us talk a lot about Fabian Lovett for the first 3 weeks of practice, he beat some double teams today.
Yeah. Full observations over at warchant.com. Go check it out. Hit that thumbs up too, folks. We certainly would appreciate it. We got a lot of questions here in the queue, Corey, but there's some folks, our value subscribers at warchant.com, that we weren't able to get to on the Renegade Express, so maybe we can kind of dabble real quick. Shout out to our guy PCB Noleman, missed us at Sharkies. Wonders about this coaching staff. Seems like they're coaching these guys up, developing players. Past staffs were accused of not developing the great talent. Our guy Whack 169. You guys see things here that you have seen in past seasons that portend to a great season happening. He just remembers the year that the DBs looked really great in practice, but they were great because the receivers were awful. Is good versus good in practice really good versus good? Explore the space is needed, Corey.
Yeah, and we got Patrick Surtain today. We got to talk, and I actually asked him about that, and he said he tells his guys they're going up against one of the best. They're not going to see a better receiving core than what they see every day in practice, and it's the truth. I mean, when you throw in, number one, just looking at the schedule, but also, and LSU's got some dudes. Neighbors is certainly a guy, but so's Keon Coleman and so's Johnny Wilson. Destin Hill every day looks more and more like a guy. Winston Wright had a 35-yard catch in Thursday's practice, and also had an easy touchdown in the one-on-one drills where he beat Greedy Vance, who's a good player, beat him significantly to get open for a touchdown. They just got some guys in the wide receiver corps, so they are, as Patrick said, iron sharpening iron. He brought that out today, and I think that 2 years ago, it was because the receivers just weren't any good. Now they really do have a back and forth because the DBs are good too, and the receivers have to go. They'll face maybe a better secondary than Florida State's, but not too many. So it's a really good back and forth, and I do think they're getting each other better. I think the fact that Destin Hill can get open against guys that are 21, 22 years old and been playing college football for 4 years is a great sign for him to play early. And then Winston Wright starting to look like a guy that's going to make a real impact.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, to these coaches coaching their guys up, I think we're seeing some of that in the secondary. Obviously, the freshmen are talented that have arrived here, but I think Coach Surtain's got a really good feel for how to get the best out of these guys. We asked him about Fentrell Cypress and, talked about the growth that he made from spring seemingly until now. And he's just like, listen, man, he's like, he played off bell coverage. I guess bell coverage is what they call it, off coverage, like most of what he did in Virginia. And what they do here is like 70 to 80%, like press man. So, for a guy to be able to kind of get the feel for that after 15 spring practices and then seemingly play really good this fall, Corey, probably underscores the ability of this coaching staff to connect with guys and get them to figure out ways to tap into their talent and use it within the scheme.
Yeah, he's gotten better for sure than what we saw in the spring. I still, I say the two best guys they've had in this fall camp have been Azarie and Renardo Green. Those have been the two most consistent performers, in my opinion. But again, they're all going to play. Greedy Vance, they've all been good. I don't want to say they haven't, but the cornerback situation is going to be interesting because I think Cypress, and I have no inside knowledge, I think Cypress will probably start, but I don't think it's going to matter. I think they're all going to play, and Azarie is going to play a lot.
All right, let's hit these last two here. Candy Knowles says, wake up, thanks for reading this. I remember the other day that FSU's 2020 roster was deemed the youngest across all of college football. I Googled and think it's accurate. Do you think this year's roster will be the oldest roster out there? And what are your takeaways, if any, from this random observation? Thanks for all your work for making some things out of nothings during the offseason. Here's to a great 2023.
No, I think statistically it is. Like we've talked about, I think Phil Steele, the esteemed Phil Steele, the college football writer, said it's the oldest, most experienced roster he's ever charted. And it's the truth, man. You've got Jordan Travis isn't the oldest guy on the offense. And he's been playing college football since Willie Taggart was here. Like it's been a minute. So, he was teammates with Cam Akers? right? He
Yeah.
had to have been. Yeah, he was in the same backfield with Cam Akers after Willie got fired for a couple of plays. That's how old he is, and he's not the oldest guy on the offense. Demetri Emmanuel's old. Johnny Wilson's in his 4th year. All the old linemen are 22, 23 years old. And then the defense, you have Bethune, Deloach, Renardo Green, Akeem Dent, who's been around for a minute. It's so much experience that, yes, I can't imagine there's an older, more experienced team with more combined starts and games played than Florida State start. Let's say they're too deep. They're too deep, has more experience. It has to than any other team in the country. And on top of that, their offensive line, I believe, and nobody's proven me wrong yet, it's the most experienced offensive line in college football history. Not saying it's the best, but when you have 8 guys that have played at least 25, started at least 25 games, or 7 guys that have started close to 30, and then Bless Harris, who would have started last year if he got hurt in the first game. There's just nothing like this. There's never been a collection of old 22, 23-year-old grown men offensive linemen on one team. So it should be an enormous advantage. Doesn't mean you're going to beat LSU, but man, it's nice to have guys that have been through a bunch of wars before and won't get too high or too low.
Our guy Noel backs 55. In your opinion, what plays a bigger role in the outcome of the game? The chess match between the coaches, that is them taking advantage of mismatches, scheming open receivers, in-game adjustments, or will it be special teams?
Probably the first one.
Okay.
I mean, special teams is important, but I think the first one will be, it's the first game of the season. Obviously, both teams are going to have wrinkles that the other team's not prepared for. How quickly do you adapt to that will likely dictate the game. But again, speaking of special teams, both the kickers made they combined to make all 4 of their kicks from 35 yards out and 43 yards out. Looked like they were right down the pipe.
42, I said, but Corey will get.
No, you're right. I think it was 40. No, yeah, whatever. 42. Hey, it would have been good for 43.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right. How about our guy Jeff Mayers? Let's get this party started.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Thank you, Jeff. $20 in the jar for us. Corey Aslan needs a shirt or jacket with the title "Man of the People." I thought it was a very interesting ask, Aslan. Go Noles.
Recap it. Thank you very much, Jeff, and recap it. Go.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. Appreciate you having my back on that. And actually, thanks everybody on YouTube that didn't really hammer me. As soon as Coach gave me the business, I'm like, oh, here we go. People are going to not realize that he was just busting my chops. But we'd asked Ron Dugans earlier in camp, about could he go one-on-one against Pat Surtain, and he gave us a funny, interesting answer. And we were going to get Coach Surtain after practice today, but we got Coach Norvell first. And I went in a little bit too hot, a little too guns ablaze, and I told Coach, is this a good idea or a great idea? Have Coach Surtain and Coach Dugans go head-to-head, and whoever wins their side of the football gets like a treat. And then Coach Norvell was like, that's a terrible idea, Aslan. That's a terrible.
That's when I had your back. I had your back. I was like, that wasn't one of the options he gave you.
Yeah, you did.
Choose another one.
Yeah. He doesn't want his guys to get hurt, which another guy brought up that was on the beat there. I think Kurt Weiler was saying that, he probably doesn't want his he doesn't want his coaches to be like Kenny Dillingham the other year when Kenny was on a scooter and rocking around on crutches for a while. So
meanwhile, Norvell's doing 80-yard sprints to begin every practice.
Right. I should have brought that up. See, I don't think quickly like you, Corey.
Well, that happened hours upon hours ago, and there was no reason to keep that dialogue going. But you got a good answer. He was a good soundbite.
There you go. Thank you, Jeff. We appreciate you, man. Here's our guy, Bakari, a.k.a. Kari. $20 from Bakari as well. Thank you, Bakari. Appreciate you, man. He's also a subscriber of warchant.com. You all should be.
Thank you, Bakari. Thank you, man.
What's up, fellas? Go Noles. Keep up the good work. What team in the past does this team resemble? He's getting 2000 vibes. Corey, what do you think about that?
By the way, before we answer that, you did ask Surtain, or somebody did, and he gave an answer about what he would do he thought he'd have a good chance in the number one. He did agree that it should be in the end zone.
Yeah.
They're not going to be doing the whole field or red zone anyway, but he thought he'd have a good chance with them.
Yeah, he did.
So go watch those clips of both those guys talking about it. So 2000 to recap for people. Winky was the returning senior, very, very old quarterback. Had some questions at wideout, but not because you just lost Peter Warwick. You had lost Ron Dugans. Lavernius Coles had been kicked off the team in the middle of the year before. So you had a whole new receiving core, but, nobody knew how good Marvin Minnis was going to be. And then Anquan it turned into Anquan. And Javon Walker was a part of that deal, but he was hurt for a lot of it. Anyway, I would say sure. That's not a bad play because you've got senior quarterback, senior running back like you did with Travis Minor. A pretty experienced offensive line, but nothing like this. But also, I don't know. I was going to say like Jordan Travis isn't as good as Chris Winkie, but I don't know that I'd say that. Chris Winkie played in a different time where defenses weren't used to guys throwing it all over the lot. But and Winkie was a great quarterback. I mean, he won the Heisman. But yeah, I could see that. I think the 2000 defense was better than this defense. I think the NFL draft will prove me right in that, but I can see some similarities for sure.
I think, 14 people keep bringing up, like maybe if 14 didn't have to deal with the baggage of 13, they'd play like I think the way this team's going to play, because 14 was such a slog and a grind. I don't think this team is going to grind out 24-21, 28-26 kind of wins, margin of victory kind of games, Corey, right? I mean, I know that sounds crazy. That was a team that, made it to a playoff.
Yeah.
If they got a better matchup, probably goes to the national title game. Just the more you watch practice and you just see the things they do, and you're like, oh, that's a new thing that they did today. How do you defend against that? Like, you could be on your keys, everybody, all 11 of you on the other side of the football. But when they're running things that cleanly, that crisp, and you have to factor in that quarterback doing 3 different things, and that guy doing 2 different things, and that guy doing 2 different things, man, it's super difficult if they block it up right, and they block it up right most of the time.
Yeah, blocking it up is the key. If you give these receivers time to get open, and you give this guy time to see it, you're not stopping him. If the offensive line can pass pro, they're gonna light a lot of defenses up. Going back to this question, because we've gotten it a few times. Honestly, because of the experience on this team, I don't like that 2000 team. I was just thinking about it. Well, yeah, they were good. They had a lot of good players, but they lost a ton off that team. This team, other than Jamie Robinson and Pokey, but Pokey was replaced by Keon Coleman. So you lost so little from last year's team. I don't remember maybe the 87 team, because they brought back so much of that 86 team, and there were preseason expectations, and they certainly lived up to them. But man, I don't remember another Florida State team that had this much experience going into a season. It's just crazy. They were a very good offense last year, and they lost Cam McDonald and Pokey Wilson and replaced them with Keon Coleman and Jaheim Bell. I mean, there hasn't been many like this one.
I got this weird thing in the mail.
All right. We're going to start reading our mail.
I was trying to see if I could find 80% of their offensive production returned. 94% of their defensive production from last year has returned.
Well, I don't
an overall average of 87.
That can't be right. Jamie had more tackles than that. He produced more than 6% of their production. But the point being, they have a lot of production coming back, a ton of production coming back, and they've enhanced their roster. The guys that produced last year might not get on the field this year because they've been either recruited past or portaled past. It's gonna be really. I mean, I can't put my finger on a team that's been quite like this one.
Let's turn our attention to this matchup with LSU. Our guy Halston dropping some dollars.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Thanks, Halston. Hey, guys. How big of an impact do you think Maason Smith being out for LSU will be? Don't know how the betting line didn't move at all with him being a top 3 player on their roster, arguably. See you in O-Town.
See you, Halston. Hope we see you there, buddy. And thank you very much, man. That's very kind. The line still hasn't moved at all?
2.5 in my bookie last I checked.
All right.
I'll hit the refresh. I mean, Corey and I kind of disagreed on this last night because, I'd spoken again to Matthew Bruni over at the Bengal Tiger. It seems like there's some rust on Maason Smith. He got maybe a little bit of a scare a week ago, left practice. He left the playing field, but right. He was still at practice, but he didn't finish out practice because he got a little bit scared. It seems like maybe somebody rolled up on him. man, a guy that big coming off an injury, that's major joint, maybe by November you're a little bit nervous. I'm not disrespecting this guy's game at all, man. He's a phenomenal athlete. He's an incredibly built young man. He's going to be a first-round NFL draft pick when his time comes. But, man, I don't know. Week one, you maybe get 25 snaps out of him, but the chance that he can wreak havoc on 10 of those, and 10 of those could be enough to impact the game. I like Florida State's chances to mitigate that if he were to play. And now that he's not playing, I just feel maybe a little bit more confident they'll be all right.
I think a more as interesting a question is what players that would be in this same circumstance where we know they're suspended or they're missing the first game would the line actually move for? Obviously, the quarterbacks. Anybody else?
I mean, maybe if Neighbors went down. I don't know if Johnny's got that kind of juice.
Jaheim. It didn't move when Daryl Jackson. It's not like it went up when Daryl Jackson was ruled ineligible. So, I just think that one defensive player, certainly a defensive interior player, I don't think is going to knock the line down appreciably. That does not mean it will be a major impact. Like Aslan said, it's a good point. Like, he hadn't played football in a year. He's coming off an injury, apparently got tweaked earlier in camp. So maybe you get 25 to 30 snaps of him. Is that enough to impact the game? Probably. But also what it does is it impacts the rotation. Whoever was going to be splitting time with him now has to get 25 more reps probably. And by the fourth quarter, and if it's a close game, you're either going to have some dude that's gassed, that's been having this huge offensive line, and these old dudes, these AARP guys leaning on him for 4 quarters, or you're going to have a young guy that hasn't played a lot in there on a big drive. So that's where I think it's not just losing what he means, at playmaking wise, but also just throwing somebody else in there that you probably weren't planning to play those reps with. So that's where it maybe comes in. It impacts the game a little bit more.
Dave in Bardstown, Kentucky, bringing the funny.
Dollar bills, y'all. Will
Brian Kelly say that Maason Smith's suspension disappointed the LSU family?
Probably. Yeah, it, by the way, now that we know we think we know what it was for, an autograph session from 2021 that he got paid for.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, like, he probably is making 6 figures to play football at LSU right now this year. He's probably got a contract that he signed, and he's doing a Raising Cane's commercial or something, and he's making 6 figures, but he got a few $100 to sign his autograph 2 years ago, and he's sitting out one of their most important games of the year. The NCAA is just a beautiful, beautiful thing.
This is beautiful. This is incredible. I probably stay on YouTube way too much. I know the guys and the gals that comment on a lot of our shows. I know where they're coming from. I know these people without knowing them. This guy, Don Rorick, man, he's been posting comments on our show, I think, since we started doing this back in 2018, Corey. Always positive, always upbeat, seemingly never misses a show. And then he just did that.
Okay.
Let's go, Don. Welcome to the party. Let's go. $100.
Yeah, all right.
What?
Without even a comment, he didn't even ask a question. Don, get you a question in there, buddy. Thank you very much, man. That's way too kind.
Dude, Don, that's awesome, man. Like Corey said, ask a question. We'll pop it up in here. We usually see you leaving comments, but you're live here with us, so go ahead and pop up a question.
You just bought 5 tickets to the Orlando show on Saturday. You got to be in the block party.
He just dropped the let's go, man. That's where our guy Don's coming from.
Nice.
You might have heard Corey talk about it earlier in the show about Coach Surtain talking about going up against these great offensive threats every day for his DBs. It's been a good week for Corey Clark Enterprises, LLC. I think, is that the name of your LLC, Corey?
Yeah. Well, Hardcore LLC.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's been a really good week. Corey's sort of branding, Corey's credo, it's spreading from corner to corner. I got a video for the shareholders. Come join Hardcore Inc. Check out this video.
How much are the receivers that weren't here in the spring, like Keon, Destin, Winston, really, how much better are they making?
Oh, man, it's the old adage, iron sharpens iron.
Yeah, man, bringing all these guys in, this year and, last year is challenging the younger guys and it's challenging the older guys at the same time. That's the competition we need in the room, iron sharpen iron. So, we need that.
Twice in 1 week, Corey.
Yeah.
Living good over there, huh?
It's crazy, man. I can't wait for these royalty checks to start. And that's just this program.
Yeah.
I bet people are saying it all over the country. So, yeah, usually September is a really good because they don't talk about it. The only time people talk about iron is in August when they're getting ready for the season. Once the season starts, the iron is the other team. You're not sharpening as much during the season. So my royalty checks, like early September, are fat. It's crazy. But after that, it dries up for another 11 months. But sometimes in the spring too. But I appreciate you putting that together, Aslan. That was nice.
Our guy Dave and Bart sounds back, dropping even more money, asking the same question. We love it though. Appreciate it.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Is that a first time that somebody's asked the same question with a different dollar amount after we'd already answered the question the first time?
I think he's got 2 accounts. Maybe he accidentally hit 2 accounts up on his card. We appreciate him, though. Bourbon is your friend, is what he goes by on the boards. Our guy, Island Chief. What's up, Island Chief? Good evening, gentlemen. Annual question. What is our scoring average? A reminder to everybody last year, Florida State averaged 34.5 points. No, that's not them. That's LSU. Florida State was better than that. Let me see if I can pull it up and not.
Come on, Aslan.
Scoring offense for Florida State was 15th in the nation. They at 36.1 points per game. So they averaged 36.1. Last year, the number 1 team in the country was Tennessee at 46.1.
I was just looking that up, and I just found it as you said it. I wasn't being rude, Island Chief. We appreciate the question and very much appreciate the donation. I was trying to look up the scoring. So Tennessee was 46 points. Ohio State was 44.2. USC was third at 41.4, and then Alabama and Georgia both at 41.1. So
let's join the big boys. Let's join that 40 club. I
think 43.5 might be a bit much, man. And again, remember, it's minimal, but you're gonna have 6 or 8 less plays per game because of the new clock rules. Maybe more, but probably somewhere around 6 to 8, which is the equivalent of a drive. I mean, there were a lot of 6-play scoring drives last year, so you might be missing out on a drive. I think 40 is a good number, and I think that's probably right where they'll hover. Now they'll get the benefit of playing some teams that just can't match up with them, but they're not going to score 40 probably against LSU unless there's a bunch of turnovers. They're not going to score 40 at Clemson. Nobody does that really. That's happened probably once in the last decade, and it was Jameis. So. But over the course of the season, they'll be good enough to score in the 30s in both those games, and in other games they'll score 50. So I think 40 is exactly, if you get to 40, if you go up by, what is that, Aslan? Another 4 points?
Roughly, 3.9. We'll go 4.
Man, you're gonna have a very, very good season. I mean, look at those teams that he's got on the screen. All of them were pretty darn good. Like, I'm sure it's the same way when you have the top 10 defenses, but look at those. Like, so Michigan was what? 6th.
Yep.
They made the playoff. Georgia was 5th. They made the playoff. Alabama's Alabama. Ohio State was 2nd. They made the playoff. TCU was 9th. They made the playoff. That's where you got to be. That's the numbers you're looking for, is right in that sweet spot of 40 points per game. That's probably a good ticket to get you into the dance.
299 yards would not be good per game. That's not the number you want. But Ray Pereira's like, here's 299.99 American. Let's go. What? Ray Pereira pillar. Ray Pereira pillar. Thank you, Ray. Ray, come on, man. I can't wait to hug you, man. Can't wait to hug you. What's causing all of this?
Yeah, Ray, you're the best. Aslan, read his question.
Do you think we go for it on 4th down in our own territory against LSU? I, Ray Pereira, kind of hope not. See everyone in Orlando. Go Noles.
Can't wait to see you, Ray. And then obviously, if things break a certain way this year, Ray doesn't come to Tallahassee much, does he? Isn't that right? He's not a. I know he's in Houston, so we get to see him at the national championship game. We could go out to the national championship game, Aslan, even if Florida State's not in it.
Yeah.
Just saying, we could. I know we could stay with Ray.
Absolutely, he's got room for us.
Yeah.
What do you think, Corey? You mentioned this, I think, maybe on the show yesterday, just about the way you look at this team and operating, and you don't have to punt on fourth down. What sort of scenarios, I guess, since you seem to be a little bit more aggressive with the sort of stuff, what kind of situations would you see Florida State punting on fourth down against LSU? Field, that is.
By the way, Ray, thank you so much, man. That's I can't wait to see you in Orlando too, buddy. I would think fourth and less than 3, almost anywhere on the field. What if it's the second quarter, you're down 10-7, they just scored to take the lead. You have a 4th and 1 at your 34. You giving the ball right back to them with your offense? You can't get a yard. Like the key is to have better fourth down plays. And I know that's like, well, just call a better play. I know that's not how football works, but if you have some short yardage stuff that you're highly confident in, and it's not just we're going to get in the wildcat or we're just going to do a QB sneak or we've got these big, but actual plays that you think will work because you've diagnosed it and you've scouted, then I just wouldn't give the ball back that easily. You get 4 downs for a reason, and you're getting 6 to 8 less plays per game. I don't know that you give up a possession because you're afraid to give them the ball at your 34-yard line. That said, that's why coaches get paid a lot of money, because it's a lot easier to score a touchdown from the other team's 34 than from your own 20. So those are the risks. I think it'll come down to how much he trusts his defense. I think as we saw as the season went on last year, he stopped going for it so much because he trusted that his defense would give him the ball right back. So I don't think he'll do it much, but if it's 4th and 1 at his own 34, go for it. Go get a first down and keep the drive alive. They did do that a few times last year and went on and scored.
All right. Ray, we'll see you in Orlando, man. Can't wait. Thank you so much. You're the man now, dog. Oh, T. Giddy's here. Just nonstop barrage.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Wake up, let's go, he says. Corey, take it easy on Brady. Maybe he just needs a post-game pep talk to turn around the high school grades.
The grades aren't the problem, T. Giddings. Well, I'm not going to get into it, but I appreciate it. But no, I feel like some decisions he's made in the last couple of weeks make me feel like I've taken it too easy on him for too long, and I'm starting to question what I did. So I feel like I'm pivoting a little bit to a more aggressive father. So we'll see how that goes. But what he needs is somebody to ask him a question like I asked Norvell, and see if that gets things going. Like the Monday presser after he disappoints his parents again. If Aslan could ask him, like, Brady, why would anybody want to shelter you right now? What do you have in you that makes a parent want to hang out with you and give you food and buy you things? And then that answer could get him going and turn his whole life around. By the way, he's not a horrible kid. He's not in jail. He's not getting detention. It's just these stupid little teenager lies that are just so maddening. But anyway.
I don't want to belabor the point, Brady, but what do you tell your parents that should make them love you? I think that's maybe like the mirror of like you asked Norvell.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm
not trying to be confrontational, Brady, but what do you offer?
Let Brady know that a random guy out there that we love by the name of T. Giddy dropped $20 to have his back. So if he's feeling down, maybe that'll.
Thank you, Thomas. That's very kind.
A shout out to Pierce Schofeld. He dropped 99 cents in the jar. Can't technically do dollar bill, y'all, because that's not a dollar, but it's fine, man. We love everybody. He gives us a little Noles cheer. He sees the Noles winning by 13 or more. See you in the O on Saturday at the block party. Corey, who's one transfer from last year's roster that you would like to have on this year's roster? He sure thinks Sam McCall would be nice.
I think that's the answer, right?
That is.
I don't even know who number. There's not even a close second, I don't think. Like, I mean, I think McLean might have a nice year. Trayshawn Ward could have a nice year, but you're good at those positions. Safety, you still got some I mean, and by the way, Conrad Hussey had another interception today, made another PBU in one-on-ones. Kirkland is had some PBUs and is making plays. And then Barker. I mean, those guys, especially the safeties, man, they have been really impressive. So one of those guys is going to play. I don't know when, and I don't know how much, but they are going to play this year. My guess right now would be Hussey, but I could be wrong. But those guys have been really impressive. But yes, the answer is Sam McCall. He would be that'd be a nice piece to have in the secondary.
Thanks, Pierce. Appreciate you, man. Welcome to the party. Our party got off to a hot start because I had vitamin energy coursing through my veins. VitaminEnergy.com, promo code Warchant BOGO, Warchant BOGO. Buy one item, get an equal or lesser value item for absolutely free because you're a Florida State fan or maybe an LSU fan. You can use the code too. And the folks at Vitamin Energy like that kind of people. So they want to hook you folks up. Use it. Try it. You'll like it. The Vitamin Energy Workout Plus, the number one pre-workout shot out there, which I don't get, Corey. Like, why have powder, mix it in? You know, you have to dilute it, maybe 8 ounces at, the least, up to 12 ounces, and you got to swig all of that stuff. Yeah. When you can just take the sour apple, which is solid, especially if you're kind of craving that tangy little jab, that little thrust. Stuff is so good. Put it in the fridge before you take it too. It's not even 2 full ounces. Drink it. 260 milligrams of natural caffeine. You'll crush it in the gym. You'll crush it in the office. And you won't get crushed by a sugar crash because there's no sugar in it. Non-GMO too. Check it out. Shake it and take it. VitaminEnergy.com. Use that promo code Warchant BOGO. Warchant BOGO. And yes, Optimus Climb. Aslan is indeed vitamin energized.
Amen.
Okay.
Amen. By the way, we're gonna give some vitamin energy away at the well, I should bring it to Orlando too.
Yeah.
But then gonna bring some to the corner pocket tomorrow.
Absolutely. I'll do that. I will do that. Maybe we get instead of the Energizer Bunny, like the Energizer Jackalope, or the Vitamin Energy Jackalope, and it'll be like a jackalope playing drums to the bunny. But we give it, instead of Energizer batteries, we give it Vitamin Energy.
Is their mascot a jackalope?
Well, no, no, but that's the thing. Energizer Bunny. What's the next thing close to a bunny?
Okay. All right. That's good, Aslan. I like that.
Appreciate it.
Well done.
Antoine Stone, who ends the year as the best defensive back on the team?
Well, you know where I'm trending.
Oh, Shaheem or Azarie?
Azarie.
Okay. Ooh. Okay.
Buddy, it's not just we all know the physical tools. We all know how he started out last fall, and then quite frankly, he was fine. He played a lot for a true freshman in a pretty experienced secondary, so he's got talent and skills. But he wasn't great. Nor should he be as a true freshman. He quite frankly wasn't all that good in the spring. Now again, all that good makes it sound like he was bad. No, he just wasn't. He wasn't all that impressive, but he wasn't a disaster either. He was just there. He's pretty good. He's okay, decent. Man, these last 3 weeks, it's not just that it's the competitiveness, man. And again, I'm telling you, and I'll say it, I don't care. When you're going up against Keon Coleman and Johnny Wilson, and you're making it a point to go up against them in practice, which he has, I feel like, the last week. Because remember, I gave him a little bit of grief for going up against some other guys when I wanted him to step up his game a little bit in the one-on-ones. And I asked Surtain about that. Do they pick for the DBs who they go up against? And I don't think we got a real answer there. But he is holding his own with some real dudes, some NFL dudes. And when he doesn't make a play, when they make some spectacular behind their head catch, he jumps up and down like a toddler. He's so mad. I just love that competitiveness, man. I think he is really climbing. Talk about it. Yeah. And we mentioned it on guys that I would have ranked higher in my top 40. Every day he's climbing another couple notches. I hope I'm not jinxing him, by the way. I'm knocking wood.
All the pillars are out, Corey. They're out. They want a party, man. What? What? Eric Angel. 100 American. Hey, Eric. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Cincinnati's own, now Tallahassee's own. Eric Angel.
That's right.
See you guys in Orlando. Ray, James B., Shane, Mark, hopefully the Godfather, Ralph, and the whole Warchant crew.
Oh, got a message from. Thank you very much, Eric. Come on, man. That's too much, too kind. We love it. Thank you so much. I got a message from Mark. That he took. I think he said $50 off Marshall Falk in a golf outing one time.
Okay.
But instead of like cashing it, he had Marshall Falk sign it and he hung it up. The $50 bill.
Nice.
It's a good idea, right? Man, wouldn't it be cool to be good at golf?
Yeah.
Just, I mean, golly, it'd be really, really life changing. Really, I understand like people that can shoot even 81. I know if you're hitting 80, shooting 81, you're disappointed because you want to be hitting 75, but you still should appreciate the fact that you're shooting 81 and you're not out there hitting from the reds like I am.
Ray's wondering if we'll have Vitamin Energy at the Hooch.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. I'll literally put your name on it. I will literally.
We'll give you a box.
Sharp Arrow. Wow, he looks kind of jacked. Let me zoom up on this. Yeah, good size arms. Lucas Simmons looking good or getting better. I'll project him, Corey.
Okay.
2 years from now, all ACC left. Well, I shouldn't say all ACC, all SEC, second team, preseason tackle.
2 years from now?
Yeah.
I think he's definitely in the mix to start next year. And if he has a good, I'm going to assume a redshirt freshman year. That doesn't mean I don't think he's going to play, but the way they'll space it out, he might play some as a freshman maybe, but there will probably be no need unless you have a rash of injuries. And you can still play 4 games and keep your red shirt. So I think that he'll be in the mix next year as a start as a redshirt freshman. So yeah, that's good. I would say maybe another year. We haven't seen enough yet to say for sure. We love the body though. Love the size and the way he can move for sure.
P. Simpson, Corey, if the Noles beat Florida to get to 12-0, can you open the Warchant rap, which is actually going to be called the Vitamin Energy Warchant rap, everybody?
Boom.
Can you open it with a powerful rendition of Seminole Wind on Steve Spurrier Field?
The problem with that is you have to sing the lines, blow like you're never going to blow again. You know what I mean? Like, I like Seminole Wind. It's a good tune. I get it, gang. But have some self-awareness when you're writing lyrics down on a notebook paper. There had to be another way to attack that verse, that chorus. That's the chorus, right?
Yeah.
Blow
like you're never gonna blow again.
Yeah. So anyway, let's see. Yes, I'll do that. But hey, here's the thing: you have to remind me. And Aslan, even remind. So this was the live show before Orlando.
Yeah.
So I need to know where it was because I might forget that I agreed to do it. But yes, if they go 12-0, I will absolutely. If I don't do it for the Warchant rap, the Vitamin Energy Warchant rap, I'll do it for the next live show leading into the ACC championship game.
Oh, well, maybe we'll find like a karaoke bar in Charlotte and you can karaoke the song.
That's an idea too. I don't know if I'm comfortable. Weirdly, I know there's a lot more people watching this now and will watch this now that would be in that bar, but I'm much more comfortable singing in my kitchen by myself than to 100 people live.
Okay. All right. Hey, look at this, man.
Guys, this is a very special occasion. The Godfather himself has been kind enough to grace us with his presence. The Godfather. This is his damn house. He lives there. He sleeps 20 feet away.
Ed Lemix, everybody. Ed Lemix bringing his guy Ulysses S. Grant to the party. For that, we are very appreciative of our guy out there in Pensacola. Apparently, I think they just partnered with some law enforcement out in Pensacola for a new blend of DeLuna coffee. So check that.
Oh, nice.
Out,
okay,
folks.
good.
Ed,
the original Godfather, the OG right here.
I don't want to be left out. You're never. You can't. You're etched on this piece of granite, Ed. You're going nowhere, man. You got no choice. You can't quit us. Hope to see everybody in Orlando. Over under 1.5 interceptions.
I mean, you just gotta you gotta think under. Jaden Daniels only threw 3 the whole season last year. He doesn't take a lot of chances with the football. If there's a chance to be taken with the football, he doesn't typically throw it. He'll either throw it out of bounds or tuck it and run. So he doesn't give you a lot of chances to make those plays. So I would say the under. But that doesn't mean that I think the secondary won't play well and make some plays. That guy doesn't throw picks, man. At least he didn't last year.
Should have looked this up beforehand. I'll tell you whatever the number was last year for interceptions, I will hammer the over on that.
You mean for the whole team?
Yeah, I think, man, they picked off 8 passes last year. They're
Yeah.
going to pick off more than that for sure.
How many were by the DBs? I think only 6 were by the DBs.
I pulled up the stats on Seminoles.com just showing what the opposition was passing. I don't know the breakdown. I apologize, Corey, but not really. Look it up yourself. You got a computer.
That's
you got
fine.
two.
I got a phone right in front of me.
David Spingler, I can't be the only one who feels like FSU improved more than LSU did from this time last year, right?
Well, no, you're not. I certainly think that FSU got better from December to August than LSU did. I just think they added more pieces and more weapons, and they retained, Butte left. Johnny Wilson stayed. So, I just think that they retained more of their good players too. But remember, LSU, and I don't want to be this guy, but the LSU that beat Alabama wasn't maybe necessarily the LSU that played Florida State. They did improve a lot from game 1 to game 10 until they just melted down against A&M. So they aren't going to be the same team you saw last year either, right? Like, remember, that was their first Jane Daniels' first start at LSU, Brian Kelly's first game, the whole coaching staff's first game for the most part. So they will be better than they were a season ago, but I also think Florida State could be much better than they were a season ago.
That's really what it boils down to, man. Like, I felt good about where Florida State was during spring. To add Keon Coleman, if this thing goes according to plan, which I increasingly think it will, like it's going to be unfair. It's going to be, I mean, I don't know what it's going to be up there. Almost, I don't want to say that. I was going to say like Randy Moss going to the Patriots.
It won't be that.
Yeah, it's not like they had somebody already awesome there, though. It was all Randy Moss there. But just like the fact that they added him and, what we see from Jaheim, what we're seeing from Winston here of late, what Destin Hill could possibly be. Oh, yeah, and then Johnny Wilson, that guy. Yeah. Like just LSU, maybe they're going to be in a better place, I think, just because they're going to know the system much better than they did going into their very first game with this entire new staff. Now, you could argue that maybe Brian Kelly's never had a better quarterback than what he has with Jaden Daniels right now. I don't think I can't think of any of the guys from Notre Dame that he was in love with.
Right.
And his face was constantly turning purple on national television, yelling at them after they would throw an incomplete pass. I think that's where a lot of the confidence comes from with the LSU side of things, that they see how at ease and relaxed Brian Kelly is. Because I think he's like, man, I finally have one of these guys. I've got one of these absolute problem makers, can figure things out. If things break down, he seemingly knows what we want him to do. And he looked pretty good in his first year with us. Now I got year 2 with him. So I think like his ease makes the fans that are LSU like feel like really confident. But I'm telling you, man, like Jordan's that guy as well. Like he is him. Then Jaheim and Johnny and Keon in this running game. And this defense is going to be better than it was against LSU last year as well, man. Fisk and Farmer look really dangerous right now. And then Fabian's coming on as well. Obviously, Jared Verse, money here. You saw what he did to LSU last year. Fentrell Cypress is coming along as well. I mean, it's a really good team. There's nothing to be ashamed of. I mean, whoever loses this game could still end up in the playoff. I just think it's going to be LSU that's going to lose the game.
But I think especially, and I know I always do this, I'm couching it, but if Florida State loses this game, man, that is not a wrap on the season. I know their 2 biggest games are in September, which is a bummer until you get to December anyway. But in the middle of October, with Destin Hill and Keon Coleman and Johnny Wilson and Jordan Travis having played half a season together, that thing is going to be could be running on autopilot. Like there's just nothing you're going to do. It'll be like watching a Lincoln Riley offense most years. Like going in, they're going to put up 500 yards and 40 points. You've just got to try to contain them to that and maybe get lucky and maybe get a couple turnovers. But they are going to be so hard. I've said this before. I know it's not anything new, but I did not know Keon Coleman was this good. And I knew he was good. He is so impressive. He is just an impressive wide receiver.
James B is an impressive pillar. Is that a new high score? What?
Big ballin', smashing, making my ends.
James B.
The money man, James B.
Dude, he's a pillar.
Yeah.
He's got a tomahawk by his name. You remind me, Corey, to bring this thing to Orlando next week so we can get more people to throw their tomahawks on here when they come out to these sanctioned, these officially sanctioned events, if you will. $350. It's incredible, James. Your generosity, your loyalty to the program, not only this one, but Florida State as well, because he's giving back to those folks as well, everybody. So he's doing it right. Thank you, man.
A real one, a real Nole. Thank you, James B. Thank you, buddy. I can't wait to see you in probably a week, 9 days, whatever it is. Probably a week from now, 8 days.
Game might be on Sunday, but Corey getting Orlando early. He wants to hit up those shopping outlet malls.
Yeah, it's not quite the same. It's not quite the same excitement I go to Orlando as I did last year going to New Orleans and getting there a few days early. But hey, Epcot's there. Hey, trivia question. You know what Epcot stands for?
Every person on, I don't know.
It's Experimental Prototype Community of Tomorrow.
Huh.
There you go.
Thank you.
Little trivia. You're welcome. Hey, you're welcome, everyone. James B., that was for you. That little bit of trivia was brought to you by James B.
Yeah, James, give us $20 extra. I think it was worth more than $350. that tidbit.
Yeah, that's right.
He says that we make his day. You make our day, man. When you comment on the videos, man, we see it all the time. We appreciate it. He's heard reports that LSU plans to use Harold Perkins to spy Jordan. Do you think that would be a good idea on their part? I mean, he's going to make throws, man. You know, like he doesn't want to run first. He wants to pick you apart. He sees the field completely, man. It wouldn't be a bad idea, I guess, in certain situations, but on the whole, man, I'm not worried about Jordan getting, happy feet and seeing ghosts. He doesn't, man. He's got poise.
It'll be interesting because remember, and Kelly is fascinating, man, because this will be the 4th straight year he's played Jordan Travis. He played him in 2020 in the COVID year when he was throwing it up to Maury and Terry. He had a nice game in South Bend. Yeah. And then 2021, the overtime game. That was 3.5 quarters to Jordan Travis then. And then last year, he saw a different Jordan Travis. He had I think he had one run that was anything of note. But he was they were 9 of 16 on third down or whatever they are. He was great on third downs last year and kind of won that game with his arm. Well, and Shaheem Brown's hand. And then this year, it'll be interesting to see if there's no way he can defend Jordan Travis this year like he did 3 years ago. He has, I guess my point is 3 years ago, it made perfect sense to spy Jordan Travis. That was the only way that Florida State could really move the ball. I don't know if that's a thing to do now. If you're taking one of your defenders off the field to just plant him there in the middle of the field to make sure he doesn't run. I mean, there were games last year where Jordan Travis ran for 5 yards and they put up 40 points. Like it can be a factor. It's a great weapon to have, but it's a luxury. It's not the offense. So I think my personal opinion is let Perkins be Perkins. Don't have him out of his comfort zone. Just have him go rush the quarterback. But I guess your thinking is if he comes off the edge, there's nobody there and it could be a 30-yard game, but I don't think I would do that with my best defensive player.
It's a nice
weapon to have, though. That guy can move. Perkins can really run.
There'll be 3 straight openers, like the first game of the year. Brian Kelly seen Jordan first game of 21, first game of 22, first game. So.
I wonder if he's ever coached against a quarterback 4 years in a row. I bet he hadn't. That's not a thing that happens a lot.
I wonder if they're going to think that Oklahoma was onto something in that first half. I wonder if can they look at that and be like, they have to take away the running game from Florida State. Like,
sure,
take away the running game from Florida State, make them one-dimensional in terms. I mean, that's with any team primarily, right? Take away the run. But you saw what Jordan did in the second half of that game, going up against maybe not a really great secondary, not a really great Oklahoma defense, but I don't think the LSU cornerbacks are that much more equipped to hang with a guy like Johnny Wilson than plus Keon Coleman. So, I mean, everything kind of just goes back to like this game of chess or checkers, however you want to call it, man. Like there's always a counter for Florida State. All right, go ahead, take away the run, spy Jordan Travis, try to play really tight man coverage defense. That's a really good plan, but good luck covering Johnny Wilson and Keon Coleman and Jaheim Bell on one play. They're all out there running routes on your guys. Like you're going to have a couple of times you're going to win for sure. You're LSU. I don't think you're going to win more than Florida State does over the course of 75, 80 plays, man. It's go ahead. Yeah. Spy him. I just don't think you'll have to.
I would think in Oklahoma, I don't know how much of a spy system they had. I just think they sold out to stop the run. I also think Florida State was a little stubborn, and they would never admit to this, and I've never heard this from behind the scenes. But when you have a running back that's only like 15 or 30 yards from 1,000, you maybe are a little more headstrong trying to get them over that hump than you should be. And they didn't just switch to, well, let's just throw it up to 14 if they're going to single cover them. If they're going to do all this, well, we'll beat them this way until too late. Well, it wasn't too late because they won the game, but Jordan, they did stop the run, and Jordan Travis still threw for 418 yards and probably ran for another 50.
Thank you, James B. You're the man. Bakari real quickly says, how about a little recruiting talk? Rather not, but I like you, Bakari. If they land a number 3 safety, Zaquan Patterson, will the narrative change on Norvell? Good, fair question. I unfortunately don't do enough reading of Michael Langston and Matt Lasserre stuff over on our premium recruiting board because I'm just so focused on this season. I guess there's still some kind of negative recruiting tactics going on out there, Corey, maybe about, this staff, they don't want to play freshmen. They'd rather go into the portal and get somebody that'll play over you.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, is there a narrative? This is rhetorical. Can there be a narrative that he's not recruiting elite high school players? I mean, listen, he's got Landon Thomas, he's got Luke Kromenhawk, he's got KJ Bolden, he's got Charles Lester committed.
Yeah.
He's getting elite high school kids too. I don't know what Zaquan Patterson changes for the narrative, but it just probably makes you that much more sullen if you're a Miami fan.
I mean, I think the narrative has changed already. The one thing you worried or wondered about was we knew what he could do in the portal, and we knew what he could do with retention, and getting guys to play hard, and developing, quite frankly. Jordan Travis, I know, is a transfer, but Jordan Travis developed under Mike Norvell and Tony Tokars and Dillingham. So yeah, I think I don't know that narrative, when you have the number 4, number 5 recruiting class in the country, whatever they have right now, and again, it's August, it ain't December. I think that narrative is, whether they get him or not, that's another feather in the cap, but you already got the number 1 safety. And I think the narrative is already out there. Okay, he can now recruit with the big boys. And again, I know I say this, we all know what the elephant in the room is when it comes to recruiting. And it's not just, I don't think Norvell was ever a terrible recruiter at all. I think he would still be recruiting well if this was 2016 before NIL. I think once he got this thing going, I think players would have wanted to come play for him. I think he relates to these kids in a way that I think they would, and the players speak so highly of him. But yeah, man, the battle's end exists, so it's hard to know. Recruiting narratives and like if a guy can recruit or not, I don't even know how you quantify that anymore. Just keep winning games. The kids will want to come play for you if you keep winning games.
The folks out there in the islands have quantified the Gators not being any better than 4.5 points to Utah. That's crazy. I thought Florida's favored almost in this game earlier on the lines.
No, I think Utah was favored by like a 7.5.
All right. Well, it's tightening up. I don't like that.
Because the the great Cam Rising might not play.
Oh, yeah. I see our guy back there, Josiah, nodding his head to you saying that it was at 7 and change back there. MyBookie.ag, promo code is Warchant. Use it when you sign up for the first time. You get an instant cash deposit bonus. Why not? It's more money to bet so you can win more money. There it is right there. LSU, Florida State getting 2.5 points. Under total points here, 57. I mean, I like that. I mentioned on the show the other day, Corey, they're currently plus 300, which is 3-1 odds to make the playoff now, Florida State. So that is something that's out there in the atmosphere on mybookie.ag. So you folks can check it out. Just make sure you use that promo code Warchant when you go over there to sign up for the first time because you get your instant cash deposit bonus. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere, including their live casino, over at mybookie.ag. Yeah, do you like that, Corey? The sound of that, plus like 3-1 odds to make the playoff? I don't think that's really great value. I'd rather go with the 20-1 to win it all.
Yeah, you're probably right there. Yeah, I agree with you.
Go big. All right. Dave and Bart sounds back. We'll give him a little soundtrack.
Dollar bills, y'all.
His daughter made friends with an FSU cheerleader. Lilo is now signed up for Spirit Day, August 14th, her 8th birthday. She'll join the FSU cheerleaders on the field. Very nice.
That's nice. That'll be fun.
What game is that? Is that Virginia Tech?
No, Virginia Tech is the 7th. I don't know who the 14th is. Maybe Syracuse? Maybe the Cuse? I don't know.
How about our guy Lewis P86? I see him in the comments often.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Bring a little cheese to the party. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Lewis. $5 in the jar. Are some of these defensive backs from this class in 2024 headed to linebacker? P.S. Wake up, best show on Warchant.
There you go.
Check
Tell
the
it.
mail.
Yeah, speak the truth.
No, man, I don't think so. These guys they look like defensive backs to me, Corey. I don't see them moving down into the box and being, star. I mean, they could play star, but I don't see them being linebackers.
I can't speak of the 24 kids because they're not here. We don't get to see them. I've got to see them in person. I don't. None of the 23 kids to me look like they're linebacker material. I think they're safeties. They look like safeties. They play like safeties. Our corners. I don't. They don't seem to have. I will say that they don't seem to have the frames maybe to be a linebacker. I wouldn't think. But I mean, I know the game's changing. They could be closer to the line of scrimmage, but I think they'll stay defensive backs. Blake Nicholson, weirdly, because he looks like such a beast in his high school film, and he's actually coming on. He's starting to make more plays in practice that I've noticed. He needs to get bigger. I think. I think he needs to get a little bit bigger. He's athletic though, and he can move. He's a little smaller than I thought he was, but he moves really well. He had a nice PBU today on a pass to Keziah Holmes. Great coverage, turned around, knocked it down.
Quantrell knows. Hey, Aslan, whatever happened to Dion drop must be the money.
Come on, man. Travis Hunter.
Oh, it's so low. I still have it on the board, but it's really, that was really
I thought you
low.
Exercised it after Travis Hunter.
Oh, hey-oh. It's still there.
But you don't play it anymore.
I don't, because I don't want to get people upset. But maybe, now that we're back, now that Florida State's back.
Yeah.
Maybe
I think that's when you steal the number one recruit in the country from your alma mater, I think the punishment is I think it's time. You could bring that back if you want, I think.
Yeah. All right, let's see what we got here. Man.
Travis Hunter couldn't even get on the field for this Florida State team. That's why he's in Colorado. He knew what was coming. He couldn't play here. By the way, think about that. I don't know what he would be here. And I know there's more things to talk about than Travis Hunter, but imagine him being in the mix on this team. That would be, I guess he'd probably only be playing one position because you don't need him at both like you did in 2021. But man, holy moly.
Carol Palalis asks, how's the kick return going? They're doing it. They're drilling it.
They are doing it. Toafili bobbled another one today at punt return, not a kick return. And then kick return, it's hard to say. We know who's back. It's Benson and Span look like the two main guys, but there's a lot of dudes getting work. It's just they don't let us. I mean, they don't do live kick coverage and kick returns for obvious reasons. They don't want dudes running 70 yards at full speed and banging into each other. So we'll see when the season starts. But I would think Benson and Span. Deuce has had a nice couple weeks, by the way. At least a nice week and a half that I've seen. He might be in the mix to do some things.
Sergeant _ Eggy heard a lot about the running back room and how the others are shining. Any word on how Trey Benson's looking? Yeah, man, Trey Benson, I don't know, it was yesterday or maybe earlier in the week. I mentioned on the show, he busted off 2 runs. I mean, it's when he's running the ball, like you're like, whoa, like who is? Like, oh yeah, that's Trey. Like it looks, it feels, it sounds different. Trey is everything you think he's going to be this year. He's primed. He's being managed just fine.
Yeah. They know what they have in him. There's no need to bang him into people. I assume we didn't watch the scrimmages. I assume he wasn't. If he played, he was in a green jersey because why? You know what you have in him. But also, it's hard for a running back in a practice scenario when they're not tackling and the whistle blows as soon as anybody gets near them to really practice the stuff that Trey Benson is awesome at. He's not stiff arming dudes. He's not bowling over guys because that's not a part of the practice right now. So he's looked fine, But the reason he might not get mentioned as much on the show or in our observations is because running backs, there's not a lot of chances to make huge plays because the whistle gets blown after 12-yard run, and they're not anybody that gets near them. They just two-hand touch them, and that's the end of the play.
Our guy Don Rourke wondering, will we be purchasing Fisk jerseys soon?
I think he will be a very popular player on the Florida State defense. Yeah, I think so. What isn't he the alter ego of some? Weren't we told that that's the name of some superhero or some comic book character? Fisk.
I don't remember that. The wrong
Yeah,
show.
it was from
one of your
like
other popular podcasts.
Well, it probably was that. You're right. They all run together. I thought there was somebody named Fisk that was like might not be with an E.
The Kingpin.
Yeah, Kingpin.
Wilson
There you
Grant
go.
Fisk, but Fisk without the E though. Not
Yeah.
Fisky. Not Fisky.
Yeah, right. But Kingpin, that's a good nickname for him.
Oh yeah, maybe there we go. There we go. I got to research it, see, make sure it's a flattering comparison. I don't want to. I mean, the cartoon of the actual guy does not look very.
He is
great.
white though, right?
He's white and wide. So,
he is very wide, so there's that going for him.
But he's bald, and I don't want to.
Yeah,
Fisk,
I got you.
Fisk keeps a pretty nice crew cut, so I don't want to do our guy wrong there. All right, yeah, that's a guy. I popped the question up on the screen. I love you, Weldon Taylor. We got to stop talk. We got to stop this. We got to, and I get it. I'm talking about how good this team is going to be and how many points I think they're going to score. I don't know, man. I don't want to talk about the 13 team until I don't know. Let's go into let's get out of September 4-0, and then we can moratorium, Corey, if you will, on 2013 talk. Go 4-0 in September, then we can start talking about 2013.
It's the 10-year anniversary, so we should enjoy the 13 team.
What similarities do you see in this team versus 2013, Corey?
I mean, two really good receivers out wide, a good tight end, probably deeper at tight. Not probably, you're deeper at tight end. Good offensive line. Your defensive line, not as good, but pretty good. Close-ish. Your linebackers aren't as good.
They have a verse, though. They didn't have anybody off the edge like Jared.
They didn't, but this team, and I love the guys that are in the middle, including our man Kingpin. They don't have a Timmy Jernigan, or a Mario Edwards for that matter, or an Eddie Goldman. Come on now, there's some dudes.
I know.
But this secondary is deeper, but there's no Jalen Ramsey or LaMarcus Joyner. It's just so that there are some similarities, but I would say this too. What sometimes I have to remember is I got to watch the 2013 team practice once, the whole season, and it was in the indoor practice facility because it was a lightning warning. That's it. It's the only time we got to watch them. So it is hard on August 24th to compare the teams to each other when what they're doing in August, because we didn't get to see them in August. Apparently there were days where Jameis looked not great. So it's just hard. It's hard to say. I think the offense is going to be good. That was an all-time offense operating at a level that no offense has ever operated before. And I mean, as far as as we've talked about, the efficiency. Obviously, the LSU team from 19 that's an all-time great offense, but they ran faster. Florida State did it, milking the clock. They scored all those points. 94 touchdowns, Aslan. 94 touchdowns in one season. When you're snapping the ball with 8 seconds on the play clock every time. But yeah, you have a good quarterback, you have a good offensive line, veteran offensive line, and you have some studs out wide. I don't think Johnny and Keon are as good as Kelvin and Rashad, but it's close. Because remember, when Kelvin was Kelvin, that was Johnny Wilson kind of on steroids. And then Rashad Green was just an all-time great college wide receiver. So, but there are some similarities, sure. That was a long-winded answer. And we've gone too long. This show's gone too long. I'm out of it. I'm not thinking right anymore.
Last one. You mentioned it. We get to watch practice, which is a blessing and a curse sometimes because
it's always a blessing. It's always a blessing.
We have to entertain. I love you, Johnny Buckets. I mean, come on, man. I don't know. Is Brock Glenn a future NFL guy? See, if we didn't have to watch practice, we wouldn't have to answer this question.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there's no way we could answer that after whatever it's been 15, 16 practices in his freshman year. I guess 30 if you go back to the spring. He's got traits that I think NFL guys have. And I'm not talking about his running ability or a huge arm. The way I just can't, it's hard to explain how calm and confident and comfortable he looks in a pocket. That to me is so much more valuable than seeing a guy that does not look like that, but then hurls off and throws 164 yards on a line. Like, playing quarterback is so much more than just pure arm strength. You got to have it in the NFL, but it's not, is Brock Purdy, does he have an incredible arm? And he's going to start for the 49ers and they might win the Super Bowl. So it's way too early to say, but he's on the right track. I don't even know if he'll ever start at Florida State, but he's on the right track to be a starting quarterback. And then, who knows from there? I've really, really been impressed with, I hate the word poise because I use it too much, but just the poise and the confidence and the comfortability he plays with. When you watch him, Aslan, does he not look like a guy that's been in the system for 3 years?
It's comfortable.
Yeah, right? Like, he's never patting the ball. Like, where do I go? Where do I go? He's not throwing it just up for grabs all the time. Like, he just seems to have a real idea of what that position is. But is he talented enough to get the NFL? I couldn't tell you right now.
I don't know if this is threatening or not. NLZFN, we'll talk September 24th, Aslan.
What's that about?
I don't know if it's a friendly talk or hostility. Let me know. Clarify. Shout out to King Spleen. Asked this at 6:50 and then came back 22 minutes later hanging in the pocket just wanting an answer. With LSU's weakness allegedly being their defensive backs, namely it's their cornerbacks. So they're all right at safety, but it's their cornerbacks. Should FSU run more 4 wide sets to test their depth? I don't know, man. Everyone's 3-by-1 like 80% of the time seemingly in college football right now. And
it might be a 4 wide set. And again, this isn't something I've seen. I didn't even pay attention to what they were doing. I shouldn't say that. Well, on the scout team offense, I wasn't looking at the formations they were lining up with. But I do know that you will see some tight ends lined up out wide occasionally. So it's not maybe a 4 wide receiver set, but it's a 4 receiver set. And it also, I think, depends on how much you're willing Jordan Travis to run the ball. How much is he going to be? Will he run it all on a designed run? Because if you have 2 real running threats, Trey Benson and Jordan Travis in the backfield to go with 4 wide receivers out wide, that's a issue. It's a bit of a problem.
Shout out Rob Krause. Ben DiNucci was an NFL guy. How about Nathan Peterman? Remember Nathan Peterman?
Yeah, man. There have been guys that have been less talented than Brock Glenn that got to the league for sure.
All right, that is a wrap for us. We're not done, though, over at warchant.com. Jeff Cameron Show, 1 to 3 o'clock on Friday. What's going on? Is it so tomorrow, Friday, the listener appreciation party, or is that Saturday, Corey? I paid attention.
Lee Aslan, come on. 4 to 6 Friday. Friday, 4 to 6.
All I do back here, Corey.
I know. You got a lot going on. So Friday, tomorrow if you're watching this live, today if you're listening to the podcast, 4 to 6 at warchant.com. At Corner Pocket. It might as well be called the Warchant Pocket. But Corner Pocket 4 to 6. Jeff Cameron appreciation, Warchant appreciation. Come on out and we'll give you some we'll have a little bit of swag and a lot of good times and cold beer and hot women.
WallStreetOrlando.com. Get your tickets to the block party weekend for the LSU game. Again, Seminole Headlines live 5 to 6, a meet and greet with the staff 4 to 5 o'clock. Pillars, show up, please, Saturday, the entire day and night out there. We're going to try to make it right for you guys. Thank you to everybody for asking questions. We try to get as many as we possibly could. Thanks to our guy Josiah back there screening them, popping them up on our screen to help us get everybody in here. Shout out to Lewis, Dave in Bardstown 3 times over, the James B., Ed Lemmix, Pierce Schofield, Eric Angels, Thomas Giddings, Ray Pereira, our guy Island Chief, Don Rorick. Don, that made my freaking week, man, my month, and it was my birthday this month. Appreciate you, man. Our guy Bakari as well, Halston, and Jeff Mayers. Got one of the best jobs in the world, probably. Because folks like you, man. We appreciate you guys coming out, tuning in all the time. Can't say enough. Stay connected to warchant.com. They're off on Friday. They're practicing Saturday night. That's going to be fun, Corey. Maybe we should tie one on before we go out there.
That'd be fun. We'll ask some real questions. Get to the real stuff.
Yeah. Well, I got a terrible idea for you, Norvell. Huh?
Yeah. You think you could fight? You think you can fight me? You want to fight? Yeah, let's do that.
He's Corey. I'm Maason. Thanks so much for listening and watching Wake Up Warchant live, presented by the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill and Vitamin Energy. Hit the thumbs up on the way out. We really would appreciate it. Have a great one, everybody.